In the beginning, John said was the word. 33 years he tabernacled the earth. Healing the sick, raising the dead, sight to the blind. In the city of Canaan, turned water to wine. He did this.
Some people say that having more is better than having less, especially when it comes to resources. More money usually means more success. More fame usually means more popularity, and so on and so forth. But we find Christians trying to live at that same level of thinking are limiting themselves to a life of mediocrity. When God calls us to do something and do something great, it's a danger if we always look for the resources to determine our next move. Sometimes having more resources is a sign that God is not in it than it is when there's less resources. In the Bible, in Judges chapter 7, we read of a man named Gideon who was preparing to fight the Midianite army. So he rounds up many resources. The Bible says 32,000 men he gathered together. Like you and I, he wanted to be prepared for this big battle, so he surrounded himself with 32,000 men. We learn in Judges chapter 7, verse 2, that God had a different outlook about his strategy for success. Look at Judges chapter 7, verse 2. And the Lord said to Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give to the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Wow, that's a key phrase there. My own hand has saved me. So if God had allowed this battle to be won with the 32,000, that was a strong temptation for the army, for Gideon and his army, to live and act as if they had the victory because of their own manpower. So God stripped Gideon and his army from 32,000 to 22,000. While Gideon's sweating and nervous about this move, he decides to trust God and move with a few less resources than he had before. But then God holds another test that strips the 22,000 down to 300. At this point, the average person, the average Christian, would have thrown in the towel and said, I give up. But Gideon trusts God. With the 32,000 cut all the way down to 300. And he learned from that day, when he won that battle against the Midianites with 300 men, that God really won that battle for him with less resources. And friends, what we learn from that is that sometimes the resources around us can handicap us from really learning how to trust God in the midst of our circumstances. If we learn how to trust God, we realize that numbers and statistics can only go so far, because God is greater than numbers, and usually he does more with numbers than man could ever do. So today my challenge to you is to look in and see those areas in your life where you counted on resources before you made your next move. God may be moving in your life right now, and you're looking for resources in order to make the next move. But I dare you, double dog dare you, trust God despite what the odds say. That's all our time for today. Until next time, God bless.
He did live, he did die. 3 days later, Jesus Christ did rise. Did it for me and